Hey up everyone, welcome back to the Rugby League History channel. Tonight I'm going to be reviewing the Parramatta Eels round 14 match against St George, which was played at the Western Sydney Stadium. We ended up losing this match 14 points to 12. Now going into the match we had back-to-back wins over Canterbury and Cronulla. Going into this game we were expected to win. It was Mary McGregor's last match as head coach of St George, and after the conclusion of the match he was no longer going to be in the position. So St George obviously were going to go out there and play for McGregor for this match, and it was a match that we were expected to win. Now very early on we got a try, and it was down the right hand side of the field, and it was a good bit of work from Mitchell Moses to Wonga Blake, who passed it back on the inside to Clint Gutherson. Now, you get all these people online that see that our right side of the field's shite, but once again, scored another good try through Wonga Blake on that side of the field. Then St George hit back with two tries. The first was through Ravalawe. The second come off a very, you can see, controversial moment beforehand. Corey Norman dropped the ball cold. They reviewed it with the captain's challenge, and then it was deemed that Dylan Brown rigged the ball with his hand backwards or something like that. Now, even when you get people like Phil Gould in the commentary box going, Corey Norman dropped that. You know, someone that dislikes Parramatta as much as Phil Gould, even he come out and said, Corey Norman dropped that. Now, that decision to give St George another set resulted in their second try. This try, watching it on the replay, I wasn't particularly happy with the defence because Ravalawa had a very short space to move in, so he basically charged like a bull at the line, and he knocked over the first player. And then when he got to Clint Gutherson, all Clint Gutherson sort of had to do was just put a good hit on him, and he would have gone in a touch. But Clint Gutherson kind of went, and then Ravalawa just run straight over the top of him and scored. So we went into the break once again, down at half time. Second half we come out and we looked like a different team in the opening couple of minutes. Keane Evans scored a try that kind of was a bit reminiscent of Andrew Fafita in the 2016 Grand Final. He kind of just charged at the line, carried about 3 or 4 people over, hit and spun, and scored a try through us. And then the match kind of was a bit of a seesaw after that, and it wasn't until the sort of last 10 to 15 minutes that you got some further talking points. The first one was St George scored a try. On the replay it showed that he knocked the ball in to Paulo, and then it kind of was simultaneous. He regathered it and scored, and I think that was the correct decision. And then with about, you can see, 5 to 10 minutes to go, it was a nothing play on the right hand side of the field. Blake Ferguson kicked it back on the inside. Everyone, St George and Parramatta players, all stopped except for Reid Marnie. Ran at the line, dove for it like Superman, placed the ball. You could see right where the line and the in goal was. It was on field was try for the decision, and I went, well, this is going to be a try. This like, it went to the bunker, and the bunker somehow ruled that the ball was on the line. I've looked at it numerous times from the angle that I can see it at. It's a try for me. Like, I think he scored that try. There was no further sort of big moments in the match, and George held on to win 14 points to 12. It was disappointing to lose the game, but I think the biggest thing that come out of it for me wasn't actually the match. It was the comments that I read online and what people were seeing after the match, and people just went into fucking meltdown. Like, it was incredible. I watched a couple of YouTube videos. Entertain House was at the game and he was calling Parramatta a bunch of fucking pretenders. You had National Sports Loaded with an expletive rant, and I tell you, if he got a pound every time he swore, like, you'd have at least £100 or £200 in your bank account. online, all the Parramatta fans themselves seeing the season's over, we're playing like shite, we're not happy, and then going on the National Rugby League and Fox League channels and seeing all the people going Parramatta pretenders, chokers, all this shite. Some people, I think, weren't even thinking what they were typing. There was one lad that said that Parramatta can't beat teams like Cronulla and Newcastle, and I went, we beat Cronulla and Newcastle, you daft cunt. So I'm kind of thinking to myself, fuck, it's only one game, like, we lost one game. We're sat third at the moment on the table. We're pretty much assured of a top 4 spot. The only way that we won't finish top 4 is if we lose every single game from now to the end of the year, and Canberra and Newcastle win all of their games towards the end of the year, which it could happen, but it's quite unlikely. You have to remember, with the NRL, it's a long season. It's a really, really long season. Some people think it's a short season. It's a very long season. Anything and everything can happen in the season. And I've seen years gone by, teams hit a bad patch of form, teams don't play well, and all the critics come out and say, this team can't win the Premiership. This team's a bunch of chokers. I'll give you 2 classic examples. South Sydney 2014. They were outclassed in the last couple of games. They lost to North Queensland, and then they were battered by Eastern Suburbs. I remember going online, and all these people were going, South's chokers, South's not going to win the Premiership this year, they don't have what it takes. They ended up winning it. 2016, Cronulla, they won 17 games in a row, and then they went through that really bad spot of form where they lost, I think, 4 of the next 5 games, and they drew at the Gold Coast. I was at Cogra Overlay, and I saw all the St George fans on the hill going, better luck next year, Cronulla, you bunch of fucking chokers, take that. Anyway, when it come to the finals, they put it back together and they won the Premiership. I'm not saying that Parramatta's going to win the Premiership this year, but to put a red line through them so early on, I mean, there's still 6 or 7 games left to go of the actual regular season. Then we get into the finals. Now, being a Parramatta fan for the best part of 32, 33 years, I've learned that the regular season means nought. All that matters is the final series itself, because how many times have I seen over the years Parramatta do so well in the regular season, it gets to the finals and they don't deliver. Now, in the history books, people don't care about the regular season. It's all about the finals, the preliminary finals, the grand final. And that's where it's really going to matter this year. So, okay, we lost to St George. It's disappointing. But you don't have to go in a total fucking meltdown over it. Like, just one game. I know that we play Melbourne next week. It's going to be a really tough match. I can't stand Melbourne. They got a great record against us. But they got a few players out. And I'm expecting a better performance from our players. Hopefully they can get a win next week, and this whole caper about losing to St George will be done and dusted. So that's my video for the round 14 review against St George. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, click that like button, and if you're enjoying the content that I'm making, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell so you get an email when I do a new video. Anyways, everyone, catch us all later. Ta-ra.